Are you ready to run your short-term rental business like a superhost? If so, look no further than Guesty for Hosts. Guesty for Hosts offers listing management for all three major OTAs, Airbnb, Booking.com, and VRBO. With Guesty for Hosts, you can create a branded direct booking website in minutes. I've been able to hit 61% direct bookings in my business and automate daily tasks such as communication with cleaners and communication with guests. Click the link in the show notes to get an additional $20 off your first month.
Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Micah and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live,
Let
Thrive. What is up, Micah, man?
I am good. How about yourself, Stevie Stacks?
Well, you got over COVID, so now it's my turn, huh? I hope I don't got it, but I got a little cold going on.
I still ain't tested negative yet. I'm still COVID positive, technically, but still okay.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
hope you're negative now, or the next test comes in good. But all that aside, we had this is episode 191 of your favorite Airbnb, VRBO, Homeway, Uber, Lyft, all that share economy, fun stuff podcast in the world. We are coming at you from Arlington, Texas, and Fort Worth, Texas, and we have a special guest, Micah.
Who is our guest, Stevie Stacks?
Tatiana Taylor-Tait, otherwise known as Triple T. I just made that up.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Trust me, that's been going on for a while. So you're good.
Triple T, I like that. So Tatiana is an award-winning interior designer and short-term rental coach from Vancouver, Canada. After honing her craft these past 7 years, she now helps individuals design beautiful homes and create passive income with short-term rentals. Welcome to the show, Tatiana.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So interior design. How did you get into interior design?
Honestly, I actually fell into it. I originally went to school for marketing and graphic design, and I kind of had an eye, I guess some people could say. And one of my friends recommended me and introduced me to this developer who I guess was like in a pinch and needed some help designing a property. And I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. Let me give it a try. The developer and the homeowners absolutely loved what I put together. And he just kept asking me for more jobs. So I was just contracting my time to him, because at that time I was running my own marketing agency on the side. So I was like, let me stay doing what I'm doing. If you need help, of course, I love these projects. It's super fun. So I kept doing that, and it kept getting busier and busier. So eventually he was like, can I bring you on to our team? So I was like, yeah, of course. But it was so funny because the whole time I was trying to be one leg out, still freelancing, doing my own thing. But I fell in love with interior design and the ability to help people throughout the whole process and really kind of create something beautiful that was a reflection of themselves. And that's what the whole passion behind it became.
Wow.
Yeah, that is cool. It just took you down a whole new road that you didn't think you were going to go on.
Just saying yes. That's the motto.
Just say yes. I like it. It's the opposite of the drug thing. That's cool. So you've been doing it for 7 years now. There is something to it, because we've tried when we are in the early days of starting Airbnb, anybody they could just put grandma's furniture in there and put it on the website, let's go, right? And then people started getting to interior designers, and then we're like, oh crap, we gotta up our game a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but there is something amazing about it's an art form, and I appreciate it. I'm not the best at it, so we have a million questions about that and about how you got into Airbnb and stuff. But one first question, can you Walmart out a badass place?
Yeah, well, honestly, there's certain places, I don't know, Walmart in the States, you guys, is way better than in Canada. So that's the one thing. You guys have so much more to offer when it comes to Walmart. We don't even have Target anymore. They revoked our Target card right away. There was some fraud thing that happened, I guess, when Target was out here. They had a credit card fraud.
That happened here too, but yeah.
That wiped them out right here.
Canada don't play.
Yeah, they don't.
No,
play.
and so when it comes to Walmart, 100%, I would say yes, because there's certain things, especially for my clients that I do have. I manage properties a couple properties in the States. I am like, let's get this from Target. Let's get this from Walmart. Like all the stores that we don't have out here, I'm trying to like order online to their houses out there. Even your guys' Amazon selection is better furniture wise than what we have. So 1,000% yes. There's select pieces, especially now with more interior designers making collections with Walmart and Target. So I think there's a lot of gems that you can kind of add into your home for a fraction of the cost.
Wow. So you're all over the place with your designs, Canada, US, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got a lot of I try to find suppliers that will ship to both the States and Canada. And while I'm here in Mexico, actually, have you guys seen like a lot of the like live edge tables, the solid wood tables that everyone loves? Have you seen those?
I have one in my Houston unit. A designer put it in there. Mm-hmm.
So that anything live edge wood like that is so affordable out here. So I'm already trying to like think of ways that I can like ship it back home.
So now in your business, do you just only do the design now, or are you actually in the short-term rental game as well for yourself?
It's still in short-term rentals. I absolutely love it. I actually did a flip of a condo not too long ago, and then I was renting it out, short-term rentals, and then we sold it. So now I have my eye open for another property that we'll probably be purchasing in spring. But this one is more of like a vacation area. It's in the interior of BC, which is about, I guess, probably like a 3.5-4 hour drive from Vancouver, where I originally live. So that will be a good investment. I have a couple properties out there that I manage, one including one for my family, and the numbers out there just make sense. So, and the rules make sense. That's the one thing too. Vancouver has some of the strictest short-term rental regulations out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so originally in Vancouver, you are not allowed to do short-term rental. So anything under 30 days, unless it is your principal residence or it is the private room route. So that doesn't mean you can't make money out here. There is a big industry for 30 days or more, especially through the film industry is huge out here. So that's where most of my clientele comes from. But originally, and we can get into this later as well, because I know I'm hopping all over the place for you guys here, but originally, what I did when I first got started, when the second property that I got started on, I rented a house from a developer it was a short-term deal because he was going to flip and build townhomes eventually anyways. But instead of sitting on the property empty and dealing with like break-ins and, homeless people staying in it, I cut a deal and was like, hey, let me rent from you. And when you say it's over, it's over. We'll pack up and go. And that was a 7-bedroom house. I rented it, ran it like a hostel. And from there, you guys, I don't know if you know real estate in Vancouver, but it is insane. A 2-bedroom condo is $1 million out here. So that 7-bedroom house gave me the ability to put a down payment on a 2-bedroom condo, and renovate from there. So it was uphill from there, and I absolutely loved that concept. But I think you have to be a little strong for that one, because it definitely took years of my life off dealing with that kind of many turnovers.
Wow. So you went from the arbitraging, managing, and owning. I like that way how you arbitrage that 7-bedroom. That's pretty dope. So like right now, I guess it's a question that I've been kind of having, like, cause I'm about to hop in the management side just for one unit, but this unit is huge. It's like a 3,000 bedroom house, 3,000 square foot house. How do you manage? Like, do you like the management side? How do you go about managing a property?
I'm a big like hospitality person. I love the management side. So making sure people are having an amazing stay and it's a personalized stay is super important to me. I have a team now, so I have a VA and everything that I work with. That helps, but I feel honestly, it's all about the procedures and processes that you put in place. And the more that you're like, okay, I have a procedure for this, I have a checklist for this, this is how we deal with this scenario, then the easier it makes your life. And that's kind of what I've gone through. Of course, you always get a random curveball thrown out of nowhere. Or, you know, as much as I love tech, it is not always 100%. And something happens. I've had people, like I had the August lock in that 7-bedroom house, and I've had people unplug. At the time, the August lock didn't have the new generation, so they unplugged the router, so then nobody could get in or anything like that. So I've dealt with nightmares like that, but I think if you always have the proper procedures or like how you're going to fix that situation in place, then that makes it a lot easier.
Question: you said you on your team, so who's on your team, and the people on your team, what are their roles?
So I have a virtual assistant. I do have a business manager, but that's more for my business stuff. But yeah, a VA, I have 2 to 3 cleaners in rotation. It depends because, so the thing about that is I have cleaners in Canada and I have cleaners in the States, in Dallas and Atlanta. So we have a couple on rotation there just in case something happens, as well as handymen. And then my one VA though is in the Philippines, and she helps kind of like with messaging or anything from that. And I kind of just oversee it, but we have most of our stuff already automated.
Wow. So your role, you're just 100% the manager.
Yeah, well, right now I oversee on top of things, but I try not to get involved if I don't have to.
That's the best thing to do it. That's my year right now. My goal is to fully outsource everything, and that's all I was asking you about: the teams, their procedures, their checklists. So it sounds like you're planning on expanding out to Mexico. How's that going for you?
I love it. It's so funny. And I felt kind of bad because the place I'm staying at right now, it's absolutely beautiful, but it's like newly listed. So they don't have a lot of the things. So I've already talked to the building manager and I'm like, I'm not trying to annoy you, but I think you should check out this furnishing checklist that I have here and then see. So he's definitely asked me some questions while he's here and has gotten me involved with the developer of the building as well. I love this unit. I was thinking about even purchasing this unit, but I think for the area, I'd like to do something that's more pre-sale or like the ground up, that I have a little bit more say in the way things would be. But no, it's super cool out here. Again, it's so like it's booming. So many people are coming out here and traveling out here. So I see in like a couple of years, it's going to be completely different than what it is right now. So there's a lot of future potential. But of course, you want to always keep in mind that the market's not too oversaturated and there's not too many properties sitting empty. So as long as I maintain a competitive edge, I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah. When I was in Playa del Carmen, there was cranes everywhere in condos just for sale. Like down where you are, how much are they trying to sell the condo? How much are the condos going for?
Okay, so I messaged the agent today, and there's some that are about 100,000 US. So I don't know, in Playa del Carmen, it's different here in Tulum that you actually have to like pay it out. There's some developers that will like offer financing, but you have to usually pretty much have the cash up front to buy it. But there's some for 100,000 plus. This unit that I'm in right now, which I'm sure I have a reel on it. Eventually I'm going to launch it after I probably leave here. But that one, it's a 2-level, 2-bedroom condo with a rooftop patio. And this one, I think he told me, because it's US. I would wish I was just making US money, because in Canada it's way higher, but it was $90 US, which worked out being like $360 Canadian.
Oh. Does he offer financing?
Apparently his developer does offer financing.
Ooh. Yeah, we got to talk more about that because I'd like to get a beachfront condo out in Mexico, especially with everyone who's going to Tulum from the States. Like, because last year, if you had a condo, man, you were probably banking.
Well, even looking at it, I was like I'm such a creep when it comes to the stuff. I was like looking at the units and I was looking at his numbers on Airbnb. I was like, you're not like doing the full potential here. You need to, I'm like trying to convince him. But I guess he said, it's so funny because he said that people in Mexico, like the locals or anything like that, they have a total different mentality here. So no, everyone's just like happy with what they got. Nobody's like make money mentality out here, like trying to do that. And I'm just like rolling in, trying to make things happen. Like, you guys are leaving money on the table. Let's get this done.
Exactly. That's how it was when I was in Playa. It's like, I'm like, man, they're charging pretty cheap for this pretty nice place. You overlook the beach and then there's a restaurant right below you. But yeah, it's a different mentality. That is definitely true. And I think that's where the opportunity is.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I think, so one of the stories that the building manager told me out here is that there was this one guy. So there's this big developer now that's crazy out here. It's called like Los Amigos or anything like that. And literally like every 10th building or something is that developer's brand. And apparently he said, my building manager was telling me that this guy was just a hippie coming from Europe and was just hanging out on the beach, and like in 10 years blew up as a crazy developer and now is like taking over Tulum. So really, if you have the backing, the financial backing or support or whatever you need and the motivation to do it, I'm sure it's out here for you.
Something to think about.
Nice. So how do you like the Mexican freedom towards the COVID versus the Canada's lockdowns?
Very much. We're getting political over here. Honestly, it's like it's night and day. I don't know if you know how strict Canada is right now. It's insane. Do you guys have vaccine passports?
Not yet.
Yeah.
They've been talking about it.
Well, no.
So,
we don't. I'm sorry. We just have the Vax cards.
Yeah, we don't have
so
to.
Call Antonio Brown if you need one. Go ahead.
We have full on vaccine passports. You have to show these passports to go into a restaurant, into the movie theater, like literally everything. The only place you don't have to show the vaccine passport is the grocery stores right now. And they shut down, they just opened it up, I heard again, but they shut down our gyms again just after Christmas until January 18th. So no gyms, there was like no sports activities or anything like that. But it was like weird because other things were still open that didn't make sense. So like the gyms were closed and you couldn't do yoga, gyms, classes, nothing for your health, but you could go to the movie theater to watch Spider-Man or like things like that. So like it just like didn't make sense. And there's a lot of backlash about it. And I think unfortunately it's kind of torn people apart. So like I'm one of those people that are like, whatever you believe in, all the power to you, regardless, like I don't want to get involved. But you know, like I've had friends lose their jobs and everything like that were in the nursing community. And like we're helping people. And then all of a sudden, because they didn't want to, you know, take the vaccine or do anything like that, now they are out of a job. And, you know, a lot of people are having tough times over here, in Canada. So I have a lot of sympathy that goes out, but hopefully we get to see some positive changes soon. But from the news, it does not look like it's happening.
Now, with it being that strict, how does that affect like the travel and then the Airbnb income and short-term rentals? What was the effect of that?
So originally, like in 2020, when it happened, like, you know, when everyone was spooked, I'm sure everyone kind of like felt it for a little bit. Then it went right back up. After kind of everyone was like, hey, I'm sick and tired of being in my living room. I'm just going to travel, to the island or to the interior or anything like that. So it picked up from there. Then, they got more news and it locked down again. But suddenly people kind of started being like, you know what, I'm not going to listen to this anymore. And I'm going to start going. There are pretty strict, like Mexico, you didn't have to take a test to leave, but we do have to take a test coming back in. But I know like traveling to the States, you have to take a test before you go, as well as coming back in.
Yeah, they made us take a test on the before we left. I don't know how legit that test was. It was just like some door hole and some dude just randomly kind of tapped you with a little swab, and I was like, okay. Well, I had to go home.
Oh man, that sounds like a traumatizing experience.
Yeah, it was actually quite easy. I just didn't know how legitimate it was.
Trust this man through this door hole. I don't know.
yeah, because I heard that is it non-Canadian residents when they come back from out of the country, they have to like quarantine 2 weeks or something like that in a hotel.
So non-Canadian residents do have to quarantine. It's weird because my friends just drove across the border and they have to quarantine for 14 days, but I'm flying into Canada and I won't have to quarantine. So like doesn't really make sense. So I don't know. I just do what they say. Like we're just following it so we can at least go out, and then whatever you say for us to come back in, sure.
So just stay in Mexico. You'll be all right.
I know, right? I'm trying.
So I have a question. So how is the Canadian outside? What is like a affordable area in Canada where you could have a good short-term rental? Like I have some in Banff, and I've been to Vancouver a bunch of times because I grew up about 2 hours south of Vancouver. Where's some more affordable places in Vancouver that you would see as really good vacation rental markets?
In BC, so Vancouver's out of the question itself, if you like, but in BC, it really like the interior is picking up a lot more. So like I said, Penticton is where I'm looking. You can get a full like 3 to 4 bedroom house for $500,000 there. So that's really well, and it's close to the beach. The weather's hot. Like the summers get cold, but like the winters get cold, but in the summer it's super hot out there. Like LA weather, I guess you would say. So a lot of people try to travel out to there. That's where you can still get more for your money. It used to be like Kelowna, but now Kelowna's booming. So those prices are going a lot higher. Anything in Alberta, if you have some properties in Banff, anything in Alberta, like Edmonton, Calgary is good, especially if you're marketing to people that are like in the oil and gas industry, because they come over. So that's one of the things that I absolutely love when it comes to short-term rentals is like doing, especially coming from a marketing background, is doing the research on your ideal guest and who you're marketing to. And when it comes to like Calgary and Edmonton, places like that are super affordable, you can get a huge house, like a mansion for like 500, I think in some areas. But there's a lot of workers that are coming for 2 weeks on, a week off, and so on and so forth. And they get paid LOA to find somewhere to sleep. And a lot of these guys are trying to rent houses, or they're stuck in hotels and they're sick of eating out every day. So that is a great market for that clientele, because not only do they have money, their company's paying for where they're staying.
Nice. She does her homework, Micah.
Yes, sir. The homework.
That's cool. So what are your future plans with all this? I mean, you want to like manage, you want to go into more of the management side, or you want to have arbitrages, or you want to, purchase, or you want to do everything?
So I'm a creative always at heart, and I kind of have like a short attention span when it comes to certain things. So I love to kind of dip my foot in as many as possible to, keep those creative juices flowing. But right now I have a couple interior design projects that I'm doing for clients on the side. So that's why I probably have to go back home to Vancouver in February for some projects. But on top of that, I do coaching. So I love the coaching aspect and educating others how to do this. But with that, the plan is not only am I thinking of doing a product line for some essentials and stuff like that, but the long-term goal is a boutique hostel. So that's what I'm kind of saving up towards to kind of do, and then hopefully franchise.
Nice. You know, I talked to I've talked to my partner Federico a lot about, as I said, in Europe they got some really cool hostels and stuff like that. In the United States, I don't really know of any. I mean, there might be some around, but it's not like a Europe. It's a lifestyle thing over there, right?
Yeah.
The youngsters go backpack all over Europe and they stay in hostels. And I said, and it sounds, you know, everybody thinks, oh, what about the movie where they kill you, you know, Hostel? And I'm like, no, they're really cool. It's you know, you could either share a room with strangers or have your own room, or, you know, share a bathroom or have your own bathroom. And then there's always like a place that everybody can congregate, like, you know, a bar area with tables and stuff, and you meet people from all over the world. And I love that concept. I'm like, over here, you know, traveling through the States, everybody just wants their own space, don't want to really mix it up with people. But I know that the youngsters would love something like that. And so when you said that, I was like, man, you know, that would be cool to start something like a hostel type experience in the United States.
100%. And that's what, when I did a solo trip traveling through Europe, and that's kind of where I got the idea, and especially doing, you know, seeing how cool the concept is. And I'm sure, like, have you guys heard of like Soho House, that kind of like membership club? They have properties all over the world as well. They're a bit more elite. But, you know, with great interior design and a well thought out idea, and like bringing that community aspect together in the hostels, I think it's definitely, you know, a idea that can really grow as much as I want it to.
Sweet.
Me and Steve almost bought a hostel one time.
We did.
We almost bought one in the
You should
United
have.
States.
Well, it was a ghetto little motel, but we were gonna turn it into a hostel.
Yeah, it was right perfectly in a residential neighborhood and everything. It was just a little rundown.
A little ghetto, but the craziest part, you had it was like a giant field behind it. You had the perfect view of the Dallas skyline. I was like, wow, you had like $1 million view, but it was a little bit in the hood. So I was like, well, you know, the youngsters don't care about that so much, so we could just throw a bunch of youngsters in there, you know, make a little hostel experience for them, a little pool, a little hot tub, boom,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, well, now a new concept to look for. I think there's tons of potential behind it, as long as, yeah, you got to do it right. And then there's so many different avenues. Like, one of the hostels that I absolutely loved was in Barcelona, and the rooms were amazing. They had great spaces for people to connect and play board games, or like the kitchen and everything like that. But then they also had like this super hip restaurant and cocktail bar in the main level. And so there's, like, if you think about it, there's multiple revenue streams right there for you. You know, and with behind Airbnb and the other platforms that are out there, and then everyone learning like direct booking now, like, it's a shoo-in, right? Like, as long as you make sure the numbers make sense, and your marketing makes sense, there's no reason why it shouldn't be successful.
So what's your hostel company going to be called?
Oh, that, I don't know. I haven't thought that far yet on the name, but we'll see from there. Names have to, like, I'm really picky when it comes to names. It has to like come to me. So like, I love, like, my company is, my interior design stuff's just under my name. But like my program and everything's Thanks for Booking. But my marketing agency a while ago I used to have was called like Air Media. And that I literally had to came to me as I was in the middle of a yoga class, because the teacher said it and she said what the meaning was, and I loved it. So I was like, that's the name, that's it there, after like trying so many different random things.
Air Media.
AYUR. Yeah. And it's based
Air.
off of like the Ayurveda technique. So I really liked that concept. And it was unique. I always want a name that's unique. So I'm sure whatever I do pick, it will be, unique and out there, but classy at the same time.
Nice. Triple T's.
That's dope. Triple T.
That's cool. So like, I don't know. I guess it differs from, country to country, state to state. But like, okay, let's say in the United States, you've done some in the States, right? Some okay. So do you do mostly 1 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms? Which one have you done more of?
So in the States, I manage. So I'm doing more of the property management out there. And I've done things from 2 bedrooms to like guest houses to Airstreams, you name it.
And you remote design them?
I have remote designed some properties. Most of the ones that I'm managing right now, the client, like the owners actually designed them and they did really well. So anytime if they have a question, they just hop on FaceTime and say, is this good or not? And then I let them know from there. But these owners were pretty good when it came to design.
Okay. I guess what I'm getting at is how much could you really make a 1 bedroom, 1 bath condo? How much would it cost to make it look really cool, or even a 2-2?
Really cool. So I feel like I'm cheating because it's different because I get like interior design discounts. But like for my students, for example, like they can furnish 1 bedrooms for like 3,500, under 5,000, right? Those are but like over the years of how I've like grown, I take on, 1 bedrooms, I'll say 10 to 15,000 to furnish, but that's like high end, nicer stuff. Turnkey ready completely, has everything that you could even think of, like rice cookers, chopsticks, anything that you could think of, like this house has it. But most of the time I'm doing like 2 bedrooms now. If it's my own house, I'm probably doing a 2 bedroom for like 10 grand. But like if it's a client's, it's a little bit different because then they're paying me to do the service, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so who puts it like on a remote? Who puts it together for you in a remote design type deal?
So I usually find a team that's in there. So I use different platforms like TaskRabbit or anything like that to kind of assemble a team. Sometimes the owners like to be involved in that aspect as well. And if it makes sense, I'll even fly out. So.
Oh, wow. You'll fly out to do it. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. If it's a bigger property, yeah.
Nice. Like how's that worked for you? Because I have some designers, they say like using TaskRabbit, sometimes it's an issue, sometimes it's not, depending on the location. Like how's TaskRabbit worked out for you for your designs?
I think it just depends who you pick. I do know that obviously if you want someone good, you have to kind of invest in that person. So it's usually a bit higher on the price point. But I do like to kind of like have a Zoom call with them, interview them, make sure they're a good fit. And during that call, I kind of set the guidelines of like, okay, these are what my expectations are. This is how the companies ran. And like, can you, present yourself in that manner? If not, then we're not a good fit. So I kind of lay down the law right away because I don't want, and I want no room for error. And even with that, I try to like plan to have a backup just in case. But I think as long as, lay down the law, show your cards, and I've been pretty lucky. The only time something has ever happened, which is like a cleaner couldn't show up because she got in a car accident, which makes a lot of sense. She's okay, which was good. But it did make sense. And, even with that, she found someone else to replace her instead of me having to stress and go do it. So I think I pride myself on a good team, and I like to make sure that everyone's well taken care of in that team. And that's how you kind of keep everyone happy, and then you're happy.
Oh, go ahead.
So you use professional photography, correct?
100%.
Okay. And so what are you? Well, if you can't be there with them, you suggest that the homeowner is there with them while they take photos, and what kind of tips what do you tell the photographer to capture?
So I have, that's kind of the benefit of me having a course, I guess, because I have like a whole write-up of like what the photographer, what type of photos, what format, which way they should be taking them, what kind of detailed shots I want to see. So that's something I send to the photographer. I also have a call with them, making sure certain aspects that I want to see. If my client, like if the clients like to be, the owners want to be there, it's always better that they can be there, or like one of my cleaners or one of my runners be there. But other than that, they're pretty good. And then they send me the photos. If there's any photos that I think that they've missed, I send them right back there.
Nice.
So you said you have a course and and I think you said you do coaching. So what is that all about? What do you do with your coaching and your course?
So I did a hybrid. So originally I was doing one-on-one coaching, but the way I structured my one-on-one coaching, I kind of based it off of my learning style. And so at the same time of me doing one-on-one coaching, I don't do one-on-one so much anymore. I do group now. But I created a whole course out of Kajabi. So there's 9 modules teaching everything from, how to start, build, scale, and automate your short-term rental business. And in that, basically, when I first started and I was doing one-on-one coaching, the students would do the modules and then they would release every week. And then I would have a coaching session with them one-on-one and answer anything that the modules didn't already like make clear. Now with group coaching, it's bi-weekly. So you're kind of like double dip a bit. And I find that the students do really well with this, because not only are they learning at their own pace with the course, then I'm there for the additional support to kind of give clarity on anything or help them search for properties, you name it.
That's awesome.
So what made you want to get into coaching?
I think more freedom of like not being in the business as much. I want to work on the business, not in it all the time. Nice. So that's kind of why I went in that direction. But it's so funny because, like I said, I love the hospitality aspect and I love helping people. So I did find, when I transitioned from one-on-one to like group and doing it from weekly to bi-weekly, I kind of like, so like, what are my students doing now? And I'm like wondering what they're up to, because I feel like I'm not talking to them enough now that I've kind of like given myself more free time and stepped back. But that's a transition from there, I guess, not mothering as much.
Gotcha.
I guess that could be like, they say, like you said, work on the business instead of in the business, and try to like outsource or push off as much as you can. But then you can pull back in if you do like the whole one-on-one with people or talking to a group. I mean, you could bring that back into it.
Yeah, well, I love it. And, like one thing I'm pretty big on, like, I want to make sure that everyone's successful in this kind of business. So like I say to every single one of my students, like, your success is my success. So if you're not successful, then that's a reflection of me, right? So I want to be a good leader and a good coach. So to make sure that you are being successful in your journey and making the right choices down that, of course, everyone has to learn their own choices. So sometimes if you see that they're going a little off the path, it's hard to be like, no, or anything like that. But no, I love every aspect of it. And it's been a huge learning curve for me too, because going from, doing it in your own, and you really realize how many things are not whatever I thought was just like natural or like common sense. You realize that's not for a lot of other people. So every time I'm like always adding more modules, and in our Facebook group, I actually have guest speakers and experts come every month to do a workshop with all my students. So anyone can kind of jump on during that time. And we cover things, I feel like a lot of the time in this industry, and others, of course, it's mindset. So we cover a lot of like speakers that come in and talk about money mindset and how to shift your mindset and everything like that. So tons of different things, even like how to get business credit, you name it. We've had tons, and even Mark Simpson in for direct booking.
I love it.
What site do you use to create your modules?
Kajabi. It's so funny because at first I was like, oh man, this is expensive for this platform. Because I go from like making my own websites or anything like that. But I absolutely love Kajabi. I know some other people use things like Podia out there. I'm not too familiar with theirs, but I kind of like how Kajabi's all in one. They do have some growing to do when it comes to like their email marketing and everything like that. But I think with like the modules and how easy it is for the students, makes things a lot easier.
Cool. And so what all does your program cover? Like the A to Z of what your program covers?
Everything from the beginning. So how I've broken it up is like a step-by-step thing. So like it's whatever pace you're at, you can kind of choose your own adventure, but it does start from like, what is Airbnb? What are short-term rentals, to like how to secure your LLC or your incorporation if you're in Canada. And then we talk about, setting up insurance, setting up the properties, interior design and furnishing. I have a whole section on like who your ideal guest is. And I have every student actually has their own ideal guest persona worksheet. So by the end of the stage, they've already filled out this worksheet and all these workbooks and templates that I provide you that I wish I had when I got started. And it's pretty cool because as the modules go, so like we do furnishing, we do setting up your listing, the professional photos, how to personalize your listing, how to offer a 5-star experience to guests. We cover direct booking, the other platforms that you can go on other than Airbnb, marketing and branding, bookkeeping, you name it, all of it, and then scaling and automating.
Wow.
That is awesome.
Everything. So if I might ask, what is the normal price of your program, and what is the LLT, fans price of your program? If they mention Live Let Thrive, what kind of deal could you do for them?
Yeah, well, right now the program is, I broke it up. It's funny because the one-on-one coaching, more people loved the one-on-one coaching and less of the kind of like broken up. So now it's got me like, thinking what I should do in the future. But the program is kind of like their own tiers right now, where they have the course. Just the course is $997. For people, that's no additional support, but you have lifetime access to the Facebook group, which is good. And then the support, if you want the bi-weekly coaching, that's $14.97 US. And you have access to the course as well. And then there is an upgrade. I can't remember off the top of my head what the upgrade is. I think it's an additional $597, gets access to me on Boxer, and we have 2 or 3 one-on-one coaching sessions through that time frame as well. So it's pretty affordable in my mind for the value you're getting and the support you're getting. But yeah, Live Let Thrive price, I'm definitely open to something like that. We can sneak a discount in, depending on what your guys' audience is looking for.
Cool. LLT discount.
Yeah.
Be sure to drop our names when you hit her up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a very important question. Who did your eyebrows? They're perfect.
Oh yeah, they're microbladed.
I knew it.
Yeah, they won't wash off. No, yeah. My good friend Rachel, who is an artist when it comes to microblading, so she moved away to Toronto. So anytime she flies back to Vancouver, I book her. But yeah, they're that good.
Yeah, they're really good. We should get those done, Micah.
Yeah, we'll get you an appointment. He's thinking for sure you have COVID. You're getting delusional now.
No.
That's funny.
I know good eyebrows when I see them. Well, cool. What are some? I always ask, like, especially interior designers, what are some like tricks and hacks and stuff like that you could do at a place, that like a little small thing that can go a long way? It don't cost a lot of money, but you can like really blow away a guest.
Honestly, I think, like in every property, how the bed presents itself in a room is everything. That can make or break it. So going the extra mile, like you want to have, crisp white linens to give that luxury feel. But I also love to have, a nice duvet. Sometimes I don't do crazy on color with duvet. I do neutral tones. So like, off whites, beiges, or grays for duvet covers. And having fun with like the pillows, that's a nice pop to the room. So I think how you make the bed look is everything. I'm big on like artwork. So what I do in each spaces, because I want to save, I just buy frames from IKEA and I'll go download from like Unsplash. Have you guys heard of Unsplash online?
Unsplash?
Yeah, so Unsplash is a free stock photo website. Photographers and Instagrammers upload their photos all over. You can literally search anything and they will have a beautiful photo of it, and you can get it blown up and printed in any size and throw that in those frames and look like you spent, $1,000 or a couple thousand on artwork just in your home.
Sounds like Unsplash plus Canva might be the play. I'm about to check Unsplash out.
Unsplash is more artistic, like Canva, of course, if you want to make like your own things. Like I'm pretty big like on the welcome books and everything like that, and having a great house manual that's branded to your property. So that I make on Canva, and I make that for my students as well. But when it comes to like art, Unsplash, and if you want like abstract stuff, home goods, it's called in your area, it's called Home Sense out here. So that's the one thing, but they have good artwork. I love finding like decor and knickknacks from Home Sense or even Amazon or anything like that. But it's all in the detail, right? It comes down to the detail. So the more finite things that you think of that make the space unique, and add a special touch, the better you will do. People are looking for the Instagram worthy properties.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess that it makes a lot of sense when you said the bed, because back in the day when everybody was using hotels, that's the only choice everybody had, right? You open the door, first thing you see is the bed, and it's like all made up like, really nice. It's got that thing, that sash over that's, fancy stuff, the pillows. And it's like the first thing you see back, because, hotels are just a big bedroom, right? With a bathroom. And, but as people got into doing Airbnbs and stuff like that, it's still something that people don't do at their own house, right? No one makes the bed like that at your own house. So you want to feel it. Well, that's good. That's good. Like the famous Marines saying, make your bed every day, whatever. But I mean, that you make it all pretty, and that's cool. But us dudes, I guess we don't really do that too much. So that's really cool, because you want to give them the impression that they're staying somewhere else. They're not staying at their own house. And so I do like that tip. What else? Like, okay, as soon as you walk into an Airbnb, what is something cool that they see right away that's like, wow, this is cool, I like this place?
It's not an interior design trick, but I am huge on like welcome baskets and personalized thank you cards. So the more, like, I say this every time, but when I'm booking for a place, and I'm sure it goes the same way for you guys, when you're looking at a property, you sure as like, I can't swear on here, but you don't want
you can.
Oh, I can. Okay, well, you sure as hell don't want to be booking a property. I know that one's not a total bad word.
Yeah, I know,
right? But you don't want to be getting a property that looks as equal or less than the house that you're currently living in, right? So you want something that is going to be the creme de la creme. And people want, I don't care what people say at any level that you're at, when you go somewhere, if you're getting treated like it's luxury and it's a higher end experience, you're going to love that no matter what. So if there's a personalized card and, a bottle of wine, or, some nice treats for you, or something well thought out that's welcoming you when you're there, anything could happen. Like, not anything could happen, but like, let's say the dishwasher broke and leaked everywhere. The fact that I started off with that, those guests are probably not going to care about that dishwasher leak as much because they've already been like, oh, it's been so great already, or anything like that. So I try to personalize as much as I can throughout the process. Even with our check-in, when we check in with the guests to make sure their stay is good. Things that I added, touches that I like in the bathrooms are huge. People want, people forget toothpaste, people forget hair dryers, anything like that, which are the essentials, but you can definitely elevate what you're offering in that space. Feminine products for women, robes, slippers, higher end body wash are essentials that you can offer in the space. So really anything, if you can think of every area or aspect that someone would potentially use, then it's like that much easier to please your guest along the way.
Wow. Do you get a lot of repeat business at your places?
Yeah. A lot of film industry members, they like it. They want to book out places. We've had ones that loved. That's the other thing I do. So a lot of my designs, when they're like my personal places, or like when I was working for the developer and doing places for them as well, I would design each room differently. So one bathroom would be super cool, crazy, like tile that went on the floor all the way back to the wall, to the ceiling. And then each bedroom had its own separate vibe. So like one bedroom was like green, and I called it the music room, and it had like vinyl records everywhere, and it had more of the like rock and roll kind of art and everything like that. And then the room beside it, which was like a twin, was bohemian style. And then the master was more luxurious and dark and moody. So like the more that you kind of give people to work with, the more that they're going to come back. And with that one, we had an actor stay in there that they loved it so much that they were adamant about having that same property the following year. So we had to move another guest to a different property and convince them that that property was the one that they wanted, just to keep the long-term repeat business with the actor.
So was it Denzel Washington?
No, I wish. I wish it was. No, TV series actor, yeah.
Popular? We'd know them?
The 100?
Yeah. Who?
I don't. It was a girl. She's a blonde girl. I can't remember her name now.
Clark from the 100 stayed in your place? That's crazy. Yo. Now,
Am I allowed? Is this a confidentiality breach I'm doing?
No.
Oh, my, we want to. Yeah, I watched the 100. Now, that's my question. Now, how are you getting them attracted to your place? Is it like, are you like in a high rise, or is it just your design?
That was a house. The design did well in that house. Actually, you wouldn't believe. I'm saying too much on here. That house was, I guess, before we renovated it, it was listed as like a grow op, I guess somebody had in. So we gutted the place, completely redesigned it and everything. I had full, whatever I wanted to do, I put it into that house, which was amazing. But the way that they fell in love with the design, which is just the plus, but how we were marketing to places was we would just call, like, Airbnb is one avenue, right? And you guys know this. There's so many different ones out there, but we were more boots to the ground, making relationships with the production offices in the area and everything like that. So we knew there's spreadsheets that online that you can like see for the film industry when they come in, and what movies are being shot where and everything like that. So we would go to these production offices and pitch to them and be like, hey, if you have anyone that needs to stay somewhere, here's what we have to offer. And we would have our website up of all the different properties, or in that case, a flyer of all the different properties for them to view. And they would hit us up. We had ones like I did this one. just did interior design for, but I did a 3-bedroom estate is what they call it, in a high rise in Vancouver. It's called in the Vancouver House high rise. And it's like it was one of the like top buildings. And that was a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom condo. And I think that one, we rented it out to the film industry right away. And I think it was, what was it? 14,000 a month or something just for that one property. Yeah. So like it's crazy, but that was a high-end property. I think like that client had a big budget. I think their interior design budget was like $50,000 or something like that. So it was crazy. That house is like magazine worthy, but other than that, like these other properties, they're amazing. My own property that I did a flip on was amazing, and got like lots of interest in that one and was easy to sell. So it really just depends who you market to. And if you put yourself out there, like same thing with like insurance claim companies, we let them know that we have properties for people all the time as well. But yeah.
No, I have a question. Now, you said you were boots on the ground with the film locations. Like, how would someone in the States get access to that? Is there a specific place you go to, or how do you go about doing that?
You would want to know, do you know anyone in the film industry? If you know someone, then you usually have an in. But if you just like Google, I'm sure if you Google, I don't know what it's called, it's different out here, but if you just Google like film production offices in your area, then you can see what those offices are, and then just call their HR company or their production office and just say, hey, like I have a place. It's the same thing for like, I know in the States you guys do like more and more people do government contracts out there, but it's the same kind of setup as that. But you're just saying, I have a property. This is what it looks like if you need somewhere to stay. And that's the same thing with the film industry. Like they need places to stay no matter what state you're in. People are filming somewhere, right? So
especially Vancouver, right? It's a big film industry.
Huge right now because everyone in the States gets tax breaks if they come over here.
Good point. Now, are you only just housing them, or have you like hopped into where like you kind of peer space it and you actually offer them a place to film? Have you hopped into that space?
I haven't opted into that yet, but it's definitely on my mind. There is a lot of competition out here for like photography studios and kind of like things like that. You can list your property there's actually a website that you can list your house on, and production offices will contact you because your house is already listed on that for filming. But in my case, I think it's better for renting because I do know a lot of people in the film industry, and if they're renting a space, they do sometimes make like alterations or like just move things around and change stuff like that. So I don't know how I'd feel about that, but I'm sure they make it worth the time.
Yeah. Peer space. Yeah. We had a couple peer space bookings at one of our places, and yeah, it's like $600 in 2 hours. I was like, dang, it definitely makes you reconsider some stuff. So yeah, the peer space is definitely
well, the property that I manage in the States, one of them in Atlanta, we allow peer space on that one because it's like the whole backyard is kind of like a vibe. It has like an area, picnic tables, barbecue, and they have the Airstream and a guest house. So they were doing more peer spacing for that one, but I think it definitely it was like more music videos and stuff like that.
See now how much an hour were you guys charging on something like that, like a music video?
That one was like, I think it was like $400 for an hour or like 2 based off of what they were doing.
Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong. That's like, because me and my partner Mike, we've been talking about this. Like, man, we need to hop further into this peer space. Like the money you make on a few hours, it's like, so.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good if you can do it and if you offer space. Like we had even people that just wanted to they loved the backyard so much. They just wanted to throw like picnic birthday parties or like things like that. And like, that's the easy stuff because it's not like getting out of hand or anything. Like a music video can get out of hand.
Real quick.
Can you say something for me real quick?
Me?
Yeah. Can you say the sentence, I'm about to ride in a boat?
Oh no.
Come on, please, for our fans.
I'm about to ride in a boat. You guys get me with that one all the time. I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
I'm a boat to ride in a boat. Sorry, it's a Canada thing.
No, you're good.
Sorry about
It is
that.
a Canada thing. And well, even us apologizing and saying sorry is a Canada thing.
Yeah, y'all are so polite. Y'all are so polite. Well, cool. Well, this has been a great show.
I'm excited.
Thank you for hopping on. Where can people find you?
Of course, I'm on Instagram at Tatiana Taylor-Tait, as well as at www.thanksforbooking.com.
Thanksforbooking.com. Cool. Anything else you'd like to say to our fans and listeners out there?
No, it's been a pleasure being on the show. You guys are super funny. But, like everyone keep watching. They are dropping gems constantly. And, that thing you're thinking about doing, just do it. Just get started. Because so many times if I, I was the thing holding myself back until I just dove head in. And, if you don't know everything, that's okay. Fine. Learn, educate yourself as much as possible. Learn from a mentor, or do a course. But either way, just say yes and figure it out later.
And this is your full-time gig now, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Congratulations.
You just work
Thank
you
you.
work on your own. You don't punch a time clock or nothing.
Oh man, I wasn't good at that anyways.
I feel you. Me neither.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for hopping on. Got any more questions, Micah?
That was it. Yeah. Thank you for hopping on. I always love your Facebook stories, the spilling tea on Airbnb. I love those. So keep doing it.
Oh, spilling. What's
you
that
so
about? I just heard spilling tea on Airbnb.
Every Thursday. So Micah was on one of them. So every Thursday I do a spilling the tea on Airbnb. So I have a guest speaker come on IG Live and we just chop it up and talk and, drop gems as much as possible and, see as much different things or things that are similar in the short-term rental industry.
Oh, okay. It's not like drama stuff, or it could be.
I wish it was drama. I was thinking I can't remember what the name. Oh, that's what. So my fiance was saying I should come out with a spin-off show, and don't be stealing this from me, you guys, because it's good. But the Zach, I'm going to butcher Zach Galifianakis, Between Two Ferns. He was saying I should do a spin-off of Between Two Bookings and just do like spoofs of everything Airbnb that's just like horrible and interview people like him.
Oh yeah, his channel's pretty funny. He's got some pretty funny stuff on Airbnb. That would be a good idea.
I don't know if I could be that I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face though. So that's the one thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tatiana Triple T, for hopping on.
Thank you.
And we'll keep in touch and maybe hop on another show in the future. We'll get on that spilling tea stuff again.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for having me. And I hope you have a good night.
You too. Enjoy yourself. All right, man. That was episode 191 of your favorite Airbnb VRBO podcast, Stevie Stacks.
191. We're almost at 200.
I know, bro, man. It's crazy. I hate we missed last week. I was out with the vid. So, man.
Yeah, hopefully I don't got it. We'll find out tomorrow. But I think it's just a little allergies, head cold type of deal. But, it happens.
Hopefully it is, man.
It's winter, so sickness is happening anyways, right?
Yeah. And then, I felt good, but then you just can't be around people. So it's like, you got to be depressed in the house. So it is what it is.
But I'm sure you were hustling at the house.
Yeah, I actually took a little bit of a break, man, because I couldn't be around my daughter when it first happened. So I'm just kind of isolated. I kind of got depressed. So then I just then I got back on my hustle. So yeah.
Oh, well, it happens, man. Well, 191 and many more to go. This is a fun ride we're on. And I guess we're going to slip in me and you ep pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Got to, man.
Tell everybody what's going on. One of the things I texted you the other day was like, hey, man, I just reached out to my credit union about a line of credit. They gave me like $25,000 just like that. And I was like,
oh, man.
Like, damn, really? That's it?
No, and I know, I don't know. I guess, people know you're about to get ready to, jump ship as well. And I also want to tell people, man, get those 3 lines of credit before you leave: your personal, your business, and your home equity. So when I left my 9 to 5, I had all three. So basically I had well over 6 figures in lines of credit. So I had 35,000 in personal line, a 50K business line, and a 70,000 home equity line. And I can just use that as cash to BRRRR or do whatever I want to do. So man, if you're about to leave your 9 to 5, make sure you get those things in order and you have them before you leave. Yeah. So
yeah, that's good advice. And the business line, how did you go about getting the business line of credit?
And I'm happy you asked that because a lot of people ask about that. After you file business lines, you can build it up with trade lines. I know people are real big on trade lines, but what I'm real big is on business lines of credit. So what I did was I only banked with Wells Fargo my first 2 years in business. And then when I was only banking with them, I filed my taxes for 2 years straight while only banking with Wells Fargo. After the 2 years, I went in there and asked them, hey, can I get a business line of credit? This is how much money. They looked at how much money I had going through. They looked at my account. They're like, cool. And they approved me for 50K. Now I'm about to go in there. I asked them. Now they said, if you have 15%, they'll give you up to whatever you have, 15% of whatever you have in the bank. So if you have, they'll go up to let's say you want 100,000. You need 15% of that in the bank. So I am going to try to extend it up to 100K or more. And the good thing about those business lines of credit, what you could do, let's say you wanted to do the BRRRR strategy, you could buy a property with your personal line or your home equity line, right? Now that's going to show up on your credit, but then you can rehab it with the business line. It doesn't show up on your credit. And then you just tell them at your refinance table, hey, I need you to send this money back to my home equity line of credit. So they know, hey, okay, so you're wiping out the DTI. So a lot of good ways. But your goal is to get so much business lines of credit that it can cover the rehab, purchase, or whatever you're trying to do. Nothing's on your credit report.
Sweet.
Yes, sir.
And of course, get as many credit cards as you can, right, before you jump ship.
Sir. Matter of fact, I'm happy you brought that up. Speaking of credit cards, man, I have I was showing this to somebody. I forgot who it was. These are all credit card applications that I always keep. So if anything ever goes wrong, man, I can just go hop into another credit card for 0% APR for a year, and then I got a whole bag full of them. So always keep your credit card applications.
I love that, man. That's a great hack right there.
And then, I learned that at a Rich Dad, Poor Dad real estate seminar. Dude, the lady, she was like, yeah, always keep your credit card applications, never throw them away. In case you just need one real quick, you have a 0% APR, you just need some quick cash, always keep those. Yeah, always fill them out. Yeah, and when you need them, fill them out, get as many, and then fill out as many as you can at one time, especially online. Open up a bunch of tabs, fill out 15 business lines of business credit cards. So then it's not just steady hitting your credit report if you have to PG some of them.
Wow, that is cool. That is cool, man. Well, this is a fun show, and it's Live Let Thrive. Where can people find us?
Man, you can find us on IG at Live Let Thrive. Email us. You can email our personal and our Live Let Thrive email, liveletthrive@gmail.com. I think, Steve, what are you, chestartandrock@gmail.com?
Yeah. Argis Rentals. Argis Rentals at gmail.com. Yeah, hit us up. Yeah, we'll manage your place. We'll make it $1 million a month business. Can't even keep a straight face. Yeah, she said 14 grand a month she was making on that Airbnb. That's pretty solid right there.
Yes, sir, man. Can't beat that.
Man. I love it, man. I love it. There's so many ways to skin a cat, and every time someone else comes on, we learn something new.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for continuing to listen, because man, we got some heavy hitters coming. So we gonna keep doing this thing. We trying to get up to episode 500 like the bigger pockets, So
there we go. All right.
We are out.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.